Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Sherry Andrea Psychic Empath Show with your host, Sherry Andrea. Sherry Andrea brings her listeners interesting discussions and topics related to empathy, psychic and spiritual development, as well as energy work. She is herself a psychic empath, healer, coach, author, and founder of SherryAndrea.com. Welcome, and here is your host, Sherry Andrea.
Hi, and welcome to the Sherry Andrea Show. I'm glad that you're listening, and I appreciate it. Say hello to our co-host, Stella.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Happy Friday.
Yes, yay. It's almost time for school to start.
Yeah.
We went to meet the teacher today. Do you guys, Stella's in Miami. Do you guys go for meet the teacher for your daughter?
Yes, but on Monday. It's middle school, so basically, it's not going to be a big deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't wait till I get there. I can't wait.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm
Even
still
though
like...
it's earlier.
What do you mean?
Middle school is 7:30 in the morning, so...
Oh, my goodness. No, I can wait. I can wait. I'm having a hard enough time as it is, getting on the bus at, 8:10. I have a hard enough time with that. I can't imagine it being any earlier.
Yeah, right? That's a 6 a.m. Wake-up call, basically.
Yeah. But I think it's high schoolers go a lot later here, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they don't go early because I know one of the girls that used to live across the street from me, sometimes if she missed the bus, she would come and ask me to give her a ride, and I would take her after my son got on the bus because it's later. They were just going to school, like, say, a half an hour after, so sometime between 8:30 and 9 they were starting school.
Right.
So I don't know how all that works out, what time they come home, if it's like 4, if it's still 3 or what. But, yeah, I think I can't wait for high school because then it'll be even later. But see, my son will be more independent then.
Right, but after 12, 13, they're on their own. They're self-sufficient.
Yes, I know.
I used to be at that age. Like, I used to wake up, make my breakfast, and get ready by myself.
Yeah, I know the teenager that lived across the street from me. Yeah, she, her alarm clock would go off. She would wake up, get dressed, go to the bus. She didn't need anybody to wake up with her. So that'll be a real treat for me. But for right now, third grade, I'm still like nervous. You know what I mean? It's like it's like kindergarten still for me. The same nervousness I had when he started kindergarten. I had that for first grade, second grade, and I still have it a little bit for third grade. Yeah. So, but I'm more excited. Even more excited this year than I was last year. I'm like, I feel ready. You know what I mean? I feel ready to help with the homework and everything. I feel ready to just jump in there.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's like I have my own set of... Huh?
You got to save the energy for the rest of the year.
I know, right?
It's going to be a long year.
Oh, I know, because last year, I did. You're right. Last year I felt like after Christmas, like, I ran out of energy, like I lost my wind. I did so good that first half of the year, and I just felt like I fizzled out after December. So you're right about that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Then I had to struggle to really keep myself doing the same things that I had, started that first half, and it was really hard. It was really hard. The teachers keep that energy, all year long. They keep the same attitude all year long, and I'm just going, oh, my goodness, how can they do it?
They get paid?
I know, right? Yeah, if somebody was paying me. I don't get paid.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't think Tyler's going to agree to pay me.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited, and it's going to make it a little bit easier because the summer I don't do the radio show or anything like on like a regular stable basis because with the summer everything changes. The time he goes to bed changes, and I don't get as much done during the day because he's home, and I do more with him. So for me, this is like it's almost like my summer break is over. It's like, oh, back to work.
Yeah, right. God.
So finally I'll get to do more things.
Yep, 100%, including working.
Yes, and I have to make time for my arts and crafts. You always have to have time for that. And I have so many that I could choose from. Actually, earlier today, I was thinking about it because I know I told you before that at one point, this is years ago, I had bought the wine and beer making kit, and I had made wine that came out really good. Well, as you know, I tried my hand at painting a wine bottle the other day, and it came out pretty good.
That came out really pretty. Yep.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be a great idea if I make some wine, do some painted wine bottles, and use that as gifts at Christmas? That would be really cool, I think.
I believe so, but I don't think you can. How do you say? Distill your own liquor?
Well, you can't sell
unless you have a license.
Yeah, no, you can't sell it. I can give it as gifts, but I can't sell it. Yeah, no, I can't sell it. I can't trade it. You know what I mean? You can't do anything that makes it seem like you're in business or you're selling it. You can do it for your own use. Like if you want to drink it, you can give it away to somebody as a gift. Like if you want to give it to family, friends. But that's pretty much the most that you can do.
Right. Well, depending on what you want to do, you're going to start now if you want to use it as a Christmas present.
Exactly, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I have enough time because when I go to I forget what you call the places where you buy the wine and beer making supplies. When you go there, they have a whole section of the store that has the wine kits. So you read them. It comes in this almost like a box. It looks like a box of wine, but what it is, it's the grape juice, and then on the box you read it, and it tells you for everything that's in that kit what type of wine it would produce, whether it's red, rose, white.
Right.
And so you look for the type of wine you want to make. You buy the kit, and it's real easy to do. It comes out real good. It doesn't come out that strong, but still about as strong as you would get from buying wine in the store. Now mine, I do something a little bit different. I go mad scientist.
Yeah.
I do it the way it says on the directions, and it ferments, and I do it for the amount of time and everything because it even tells you how long to do it for. But then once it's done, and I have the big glass carboy, and then I have the big plastic. It looks like almost like those big 5-gallon paint containers.
Right.
But it's for wine, and it has a little hole in it to put the spigot thing in. So you have to transfer it when you're done. You're going to transfer it from the glass wine carboy that's a 6-gallon, and you transfer it to the plastic one. Is the last step.
Huh.
What I do is I transfer it, but then I add yeast and I start the fermentation process over so that the wine comes out a little bit stronger.
Huh.
So, and what I do is, of course I still want it to taste good, so I'll go to the store and I'll just, whatever's on sale, cans of fruit and things, and I'll just get whatever happens to be on sale. and dump a whole bunch of those in, put the yeast in, start the fermentation process over. So I will come out with a unique, it'll have a unique taste. So it's like my own creation, you know what I mean? So you can literally say that however the taste comes out, the sweetness of it and everything is your own creation because you made that little adjustment on the end there. And the wine ages really well. So if I gave it to my parents as a gift one time, and, they kind of took it for a joke. They didn't think much of it, and they didn't drink it. And I even put it in a designer bottle that I found at Ross that looked like a wine bottle, but it was the design of a fish. And I gave it to them, and they didn't drink it because, of course, they're thinking, oh, yeah, she made her own wine. They're probably imagining that it's going to taste like vinegar or something. So they didn't drink it, and they put it, they just put it in the cabinet with the rest of their liquor and forgot about it for 2 or 3 years. Oh, and then one Thanksgiving, they remembered it, and they said, hey, we still have that wine that you made. And I'm like, of course, after all this time? And so I'm thinking the same thing, too. I'm like, oh, great, it's probably turned to vinegar. We opened it. Oh, my goodness. It was so good. It aged so well. I mean, even better than when I had first finished it. I mean, so I definitely, if you're looking for like a new hobby and you want something new and interesting, I think it's a really good hobby to get into, and it's not that expensive because the whole wine and beer making kit only cost me, I want to say, something like $55 for the whole kit that included everything you need.
Wow.
So, I mean, I think it's a good hobby.
It is. It is.
So
it's
that's
pretty easy.
Yeah, it's just probably the most difficult thing about it is that you do have to find the right place in your house to store this wine, while it's doing its thing. So you need a dark room that's not too warm. And so it just depends. I have the window, the sun things in my bathrooms. So my bathrooms are never dark. So, you can't put it in a garage unless you live, in the north where it's not going to be too hot. So it just depends. If you live in an apartment or, a small place, you may find it difficult to find somewhere to store 6 gallons of wine while it's fermenting. So that's the only difficult thing about it, and you will get, when people come to visit you and they see it, they're going to ask you questions.
Oh, of course.
And when you tell them what it is, they're going to look at you funny.
Oh, my goodness.
But tonight, first of all, if you want to call in, the call-in number is 714-816-4750. If you would like to call in. Now, feel free to call in. Tonight's topic, as you could see from my description that I wrote, is about the higher self, keys to happiness, wants, and desires. And what I'll do is if you're calling in for a reading, I'll do the reading, but then I'll try to also incorporate into that what the higher self would say, because there's this straight reading answer to a question, but then there's a more in-depth answer to any question. If you think of, okay, well, how would the higher self think about this? How would the higher self answer this question? Now, higher self readings are probably a lot different than what somebody is used to a regular psychic reading being, because it is from the higher self, and the higher self isn't concerned with materialism, greed. I mean, the higher self is concerned with your spiritual advancement first and foremost. So the higher self is going to be most concerned about what you need to be living a balanced life and a life where you're on the right path, you're moving forward and everything. So that's kind of the difference in how it would affect a reading. However, I still think that information that's coming from a person's higher self when they answer a question, it's the best information you can get, because usually it's still insightful as to what's going on, but also it's giving you, the higher self will give, like my higher self would answer a question in a way that would actually give you more information to be able to help guide you in a direction that's going to leave you or change you to be more balanced, or direct you to maybe a different way to look at, what you've got going on. So just keep that in mind, and we'll see how this goes. Now, first of all, I'm gonna start off, and I see we've got one caller, but let me just be patient and let me get started a little bit here, because I want to make sure that we do get a chance to actually discuss the higher self and everything. Okay, so a part of I've said many times in the past, I've discussed about working on yourself. A lot of people understand what that means, working on themselves. They're going to work on issues they have. It may mean working on irrational fears that you realize you have. It could be, you could be working on yourself. Like, let's say, for example, there's a person, I've said this before, that you always say, oh, this person for some reason just, rubs me the wrong way. And you realize that it's because that person is like a mirror for you. There are things about them that you've also got going on within yourself that you need to resolve, and that, and it's happened to me before where, I've met someone and they rubbed me the wrong way, and when I look at it, I start, talking about, okay, well, what is it about them? And I'll start vocalizing and I'll start describing them, and I'll say, okay, well, they're this and they're that, and then I'll hit it. I mean, it's easy. I'll see it. I'll be like, oh, wow. A lot of the stuff, how I describe them and what I think they have going on is stuff that I've got going on too that I still need to work on and resolve. And that's what's rubbing me the wrong way. It's almost like somebody's put a mirror up in my face. And so that's a part of what it means to also work on yourself. Unresolved issues from the past also. So when I started working on myself years ago, a part of working on myself, of course, was at the same time getting to not just know my higher self, but you could say merge with my higher self, which what I mean by that is bring my higher self more forward and my lesser self, my ego self, more in the background, so that it's my higher self that's coming forward and not my ego. So the importance of the higher self, as discussed, for example, symbolically in the Bible, is when Jesus said that to go to the Father, you must go through him. And when he discussed that, the departure of his death with his disciples, he tried to explain to them that wouldn't it be better if, instead of just being able to be with one person, helping one person at a time and teaching one person at a time, wouldn't it be better if he could be with everyone? And what he actually meant by that was he meant the higher self, which was something that he already had. When he achieved enlightenment, he became fully living life as his higher self. Now, he already knew this and understood this, and he had tried to teach the disciples, but it's not an easy lesson. It wasn't an easy lesson to understand. And that is kind of what the second coming is all about when he said, okay, well, I'm coming back, is now he's individualized within each one of us as our own higher selves, which is also called our own Christ selves. Different religions, different cultures actually teach this. They just call it different things. It just depends on, like what culture you're from, maybe what religion you're from, what it may be called. So what is the higher self? The higher self is exactly that. Imagine that you were no longer in your body, and now you're spirit again. And so you're no longer burdened by the lesser self, that ego self. The lesser self I'm speaking of, not meaning for it to sound negative, but all it is that part of you that, like, say somebody says something to you and you react and get agitated. That's your lesser self reacting. The part of you, the part of a person that might make them envious, that's their lesser self. Because the higher self doesn't do that. So in spirit, if you weren't in the body, you would just be that divine being, right? That divine being who's peaceful, who's loving, who understands that, who wouldn't get frustrated, and who sees the bigger picture, the bigger truth. That's your higher self. So even by me describing it like that, you can kind of understand the importance of bringing more of your higher self forward. Because, of course, wouldn't it be great if you never reacted negatively to anything anyone said? Wouldn't that basically mean that you'd be living life more of the time in a peaceful state? Living life more of the time in a peaceful state also means that your vibrations will be higher. So even in your day-to-day life, that would help you. With your vibrations being higher, you would actually be putting out at all times a higher level of vibratory energy, which means that the universe is going to be sending you back what you're putting out. So you would be attracting more things. And now we're talking about the law of attraction. So with higher vibrations, you're putting out a higher level of positive, higher vibrating energy. And that means the universe is going to send that back to you. So as far as the law of attraction, that means your life is just going to get better and better. You're going to start attracting more positive things into your life. You're going to more easily be thinking about, wanting a raise and attracting that. You're going to be more easily thinking about wanting to have, find a person to have a good relationship with, and attracting the person who's right for you, who's going to be that ideal mate for you. So it's very working on merging with the higher self. It's not difficult. Now, it's funny. I heard someone the other day, actually on television, and I'm not gonna say a name, but a speaker that is quite popular, and he was talking about the higher self as far as a colleague of his had written a book, and he had read the book and had tried, started putting everything into practice, and so he was speaking about the higher self. And the one thing that I noticed is that there was a lot of talking about the benefits of bringing forward the higher self. How it would change your life, what the higher self is, everything that you would need to know. But the one thing that I notice a lot right now is, more people are beginning to speak about the higher self. However, many people are not speaking about how you bring forward the higher self. It doesn't just happen because you start talking to your higher self. It doesn't just happen because you learned about it and you want it. There is some work that goes into it that is important that you do if you want that to happen. One of the most important things is meditation. In meditation, as you meditate more and more, and as you are working on yourself, to do this, you also have to work on yourself, because you have to work on controlling the lesser self, the ego. Because if you're not working on controlling it, nothing's going to change. Nothing, of course, is going to happen. It's like saying if you're normally a person that is very reactory and you don't purposely try to control that, but yet you're working on bringing forward the higher self, what do you think is going to happen? Nothing's really going to happen because you're not working on trying to put the negative ego in the back as you try to raise up the higher self, let the higher self come forward more. You're working, if you're working on trying to let the higher self come forward more, but not working consciously and purposefully on trying to put the negative ego self to the back, it's not going to work. Working on bringing the higher self forward, there's a certain balance to it. You have to start policing your own self at all times. Like I said, not difficult because all it takes is paying attention, being aware of yourself. If you get upset, taking the time to sit back and go, okay, I reacted badly in that situation, but why? Really get into kind of investigating what's going on with you. Figure it out. Don't just for example, don't just get upset, react, to someone poorly and then just let it go. No. Don't be upset about the fact that you did it, but kind of investigate what was going on that you reacted that way. And then, because then the next time what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to be in more control and not let the lesser self just jump forward like that. You're instead going to try to let the higher self be the one to react. Because if the higher self reacts, the higher self is going to be going, you see the truth in what's going on. Like, for example, it may be when you let that higher self come forward and say someone says something to you or they're upset with you and they start arguing with you, there's going to be this awareness of a truth of what's going on with them that you're going to understand because you're letting the higher self come forward, which means thoughts and things that are going to come to your head are going to be more of from the higher self than of the lesser self. So suddenly you're going to realize you see the truth in situations more easily. Instead of just reacting, you're going to go, I can see what's going on. I can see that the person is reacting because maybe there's something in the past that went on with us that they never really got over, and they're still holding on to that, and now they're reacting badly to me in certain situations. Or you could see, when a person has something personal with themselves going on, and it really doesn't have anything to do with you at all. You just, happen to be the innocent bystander getting blasted. So you'll be able to see the truth. You'll react differently, and you'll be able to stay in a peaceful state more often and not let that person negatively affect you, and change your state and lower your vibrations. Because the minute your vibrations get lower, you're messing up a lot of stuff for yourself. For example, you're messing up, if you practice the law of attraction, you're going to be attracting something different when your state changes, your vibrations lower. You want to try to stay, at your same state, your high vibrations. You want to keep them up and not lower them as much as possible. Of course, it's going to happen, but you want to try to, as much as you can, be in control of it. And I can tell you, just from my own experience, it will, in the beginning, it'll seem almost like an impossibility, but it is very possible. But yeah, I can remember in the beginning, I got to the point where I almost thought my higher self was like an actual, you can almost imagine there's this invisible person behind me, and if I say, okay, I'm going to try to go 5 whole days without getting upset at all. It's like your ego's listening, and the minute you say that, your ego goes, oh, okay, so you think you can do 5 days? Well, I'm going to show you something. And the next day, things are thrown at you, just left and right, before you even have a chance to see them coming, and before you know it, you've lost your cool, and you'll get to a point where you almost swear. The higher self is like this invisible person that's eavesdropping on you and waiting to trip you up every time you get confident and think, yeah, I can do this. So it can seem very difficult, but it's very possible. It is very possible. But one of the other things in, bringing forward your higher self that helps is using the violet flame. Helps a lot because the violet flame helps with a little bit of everything, and especially with removing karma. The more karma you clear, the more you'll raise your vibrations, and with less negative karma, you'll automatically attract positive things to yourself. So as far as the law of attraction, if you use it in conjunction with the violet flame, you'll find, that it makes a huge, huge difference. So, those are some of the things that, aren't really being discussed a lot as people are talking about the higher self. We talk a lot about what it is, what it does for you, we talk about what things mean and everything, and the benefit. But, we really need to get more into discussing how do we do this. Because I know in the beginning I didn't want somebody just telling me this is what you need to do. I want them to explain to me, and how do I do that? Because, it's great to know the benefits of it, why you would want to do it, but it's not only going to do you so much good if, you know how to get there, and there are certain keys. And definitely, I could tell you one of the books that I used to help me that had a lot of information, and it was actually a book called The Human Aura. And you wouldn't think that a book titled that would have a lot of information on the higher self, but that book really actually is, the whole book is all about keys to bringing forward your higher self and actually merging the three selves so that you're living and manifesting all of your higher self and none of your lesser self. So The Human Aura is written by Elizabeth Clare Prophet, and it's not an expensive book or anything. It's a regular size paperback. And definitely get it on Kindle because it'll help a lot, and a lot is discussed in there as far as, negative emotions and things like that being reactory, and it's discussed in a helpful way to give you not only an understanding that'll help you understand why you want to do this type of work, but it'll also explain to you how, and it helps with keeping you going and working on yourself when it can be so difficult at times. Now, a lot of people talk about a divine spark. The last thing I want to say about the higher self is the higher self is, I don't really think of the higher self as the divine spark. When you talk about the divine spark, that is your I am presence, your own God self individualized within you. That is the actual divine spark. Your higher self is literally that. That is the higher spiritual level of your own self. So it's like if you weren't in this body, living in a 3D or 4D world, what would you be? Who are you normally when you're not in the body? Who are you truly? That is your higher self. Now, your I am presence, that is God individualized within you. So when you visualize it, if you want to visualize it in meditation or visualize energy flowing from the I am presence, what you would do is you would visualize the higher self is right above you, like there's a cord from you up to the higher self above you, and from the higher self on up to the I am presence. And if you want to look up more information on the I am, there's a lot of Buddhist teachings and YouTube videos. Like there's a really good YouTube video by Mooji, Mooji. He discusses the I am a lot. So if you do a Google search for YouTube and Mooji and I am, you'll find his video. And he's got some really awesome short, like 15-minute videos that are just like, so full of knowledge and information and put in a way that is pretty easy and simple to explain. And I mean, you got to go listen to some of his YouTube videos. He is really awesome. He's like so funny too. He's got such a great personality. He'll have you laughing. But I guess we could take a caller now since they've waited so patiently. So Stella, which one are we supposed to take first? Okay, Stella I might be on hold. Let me take the...
I'm back.
Oh, okay. There she is.
I touched the wrong bottom, yeah. We have somebody that she's been waiting for a long time already. Her name is Yvette, and she's from California, and she's on the air now.
Hi, Yvette.
Is it Sherry?
Yes, it is.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very good, I think. Yeah.
Well, you sound good.
Thanks. I do like your topic of the high self because we always want to navigate, from that arena. I kind of feel like right now in my life, I feel like I've been doing such this amazing kind of clearing work. I mean, there's a lot of interesting energy stuff going on with me right now. But it's like weird. It's like, I'm like not really pushing anything. And normally my topic is relationships, like kind of knowing that the man is out there and knowing that I used to feel that he was really, really close, and I used to feel that I still feel he's there. I just feel that right now I'm doing so much work on myself that I'm not really, thinking about it.
Exactly.
So I guess I want to know what that energy looks like, because there's times and moments in previous I would feel like I feel this person so close, and then I feel like the energy of this person is close, and then I feel like this interconnection with this human being, and then I feel like, oh, that person's doing their thing and I'm doing my thing, and when we connect is when we connect, and that's still how I feel. I just feel like I'm just so immersed in my process right now, and I got so much going on an energetic level that way. I kind of just want to know what that picture looked like between him and I.
Okay, let me see. Let's see. I did get that the first thing that I got was that right now there's something that you're not seeing. And then I got that it is about what you're discussing, because I got the throat chakra, and I got the kind of it's about what you're talking about and something you're not seeing. And the feeling that I got was that it's like you're not, everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be right now.
Right.
But it's like you're not understanding, it's like saying, yeah, I get that everything's the way it's supposed to be, I just don't get why.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's like saying, I get that, but I just don't get why why something is right. It's because at this time, you are supposed to be at this time, working on yourself, raising your vibrations. Now, in the future, you're going to be getting together with somebody and you're going to be in a relationship. But at this time right now, it's all about you.
Mhm.
It's all about you, and you're not that far away from a time when you're going to be able to split your focus.
Mhm. But
for right now, it's about being content and understanding that for right now, it's about just working on you. And it's about, and when I say working on you, I don't mean that in a anything is wrong sort of a way.
No. I absolutely know.
Yeah, yep. It's just, this is that time in your life when you're supposed to be, you're supposed to be working on yourself. However, a time is coming up not too long from now when you'll be able to split your focus, when you'll be able to say, okay, I got to a point where, I've worked on myself quite a bit, and now I can split my focus. Now I'm, down the road a little bit further, so now I can split my focus and I can keep working on myself, but now I can give some of that time and attention to another person.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just getting that right now isn't the time, because right now, really, that this is what you were supposed to be doing at this time in your life. It's this is what you planned for.
Mm-hmm. I get that loud and clear.
So you have to get used to you being okay with that.
And I am okay with that.
And so as long as you're okay with that, you got to know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. If you feel that you're not moving forward as fast as you should be or want to, like if the moving forward isn't matching, if you don't feel it's matching up with the amount of work you're doing, then all that really means is that maybe you're not using all the tools at your disposal.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, when I mentioned the book that I had, one of the first books that I had gotten that I'd been guided to was The Human Aura, and of course it ended up not being what I expected it to be. Funny enough, when I got it, that it was my focus. I wanted to work on the higher self. I wanted to work on the merging of the three selves. And when I was guided to that book, I didn't open it. I just asked to be guided to it, and I was guided to it in the bookstore. So I didn't open it until I got home. I'm thinking it's going to be, strictly about, the aura, and it's probably going to teach all about the aura and different colors of the aura. And I was actually surprised to find that it was actually about bringing forward the higher self and the merging of the three selves. It held most of the keys that I needed. So what I'm saying is sometimes you haven't found all the tools and all the keys that you're supposed to find. You have to keep looking.
And I am doing that. I'm diving in.
Yeah, and I don't see, everything is perfectly fine, what you're doing, working on yourself and everything, but you're just going to have to, when it comes to the relationship end, you're just going to have to be patient, like, with that thought in your mind that it's like, okay, I can be patient now because I know a time is coming up when it's going to be the right time. That person, when I'm ready, that person is going to come to me. And it is. I mean, I show that shortly, not that long in the future, there's going to be some type of shift of energy. It's going to be that right time for you to split your time, and start, being able to focus on, a significant other, and then things are going to go very well. I see that the start of it, at the very beginning, it's going to go really good. So I can imagine this is going to be one of those things where when you meet this person, it's probably going to be like I can't believe I've met somebody that's such a match for me. It's going to kind of feel like that way. You know how we meet someone sometimes and we're just like, I can't believe that I met someone that's just so right for me. It's going to be like that in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't worry. You're on the right track. You just got to, when it comes to the relationship end of it, you're going to have to, be a little patient.
I like what, I don't know, you said something earlier that maybe I'm not seeing something I need to be seeing.
Yeah, I'm getting that the very first thing I got was that you're not seeing something. There's something that you're not seeing, and then I got my throat chakra, but it kind of almost felt like I got my throat chakra, but at the same time, This is going to sound really strange, but you know how if you take some type of medicine, like maybe a sinus medicine, and after you take it, you feel that clearing of your sinuses that goes all the way down your throat? That's what I felt. So I got that you're not seeing something, and then I got that, what felt like a clearing from my throat chakra all the way up to, like my nose area, which would be almost up to my brow chakra, my third eye.
Right.
So you said that you were going through, you've been working on yourself, you were going through a clearing. It could be that you're in the process of clearing something out right now because, what I'm getting is that you're going to be going through some type of an energy shift soon. So it could be that you're clearing something and maybe, I don't know, maybe you're not real. See, I'm getting my throat chakra again. Maybe you're not realizing.
You are accurate. I do want to, there's some stuff going on in my throat. You are accurate with that.
Okay.
So, yeah. So you're not off with that. So, I do want to, obviously, whatever tools that could help expedite the process.
And the first thing I got was my left eye that you're not seeing something. So that's why I'm wondering if it's see, I'm getting my left eye again. I'm wondering if it's possible that what you've been thinking it is, maybe it's something different. Because what I mean by that is sometimes we're going through what we think is a clearing, and maybe it's really not a clearing and it's not us, but it's an energy shift that we're dealing with, or vice versa, right? So sometimes it's like we know something's going on, but we pin it wrong. You know what I mean? We pin it on the wrong thing. So, I mean, I would really look into what's going on with your throat, because if you've been thinking it's you and it's a clearing, it could be that it is, and maybe something is trying to clear and it's not able to. And if, that's the case and something's having trouble clearing all the way, you could try using the violet flame to help clear it.
Okay.
If you don't mind, if you like doing decrees or mantras, there is the Medicine Buddha mantra that really helps a lot with when you've done a lot of work and something's trying to clear. The Medicine Buddha mantra, using that actually works with that last stage of clearing it away. I'll try and explain it so that it makes sense. Let's say you've already done a lot of work on yourself. You've already resolved some things that you already know you've resolved. You don't need to work on them anymore. But it didn't clear all the way. It didn't. You know what I mean? The Medicine Buddha mantra works great for going ahead and clearing that last residual whatever that's still there.
Awesome. So where do I get that?
Okay. That's a good question. I'll give you my email address. I'm laughing because I'm just like, okay. When I got it, a person gave it to me and sent me all the information. So I'm like, yeah, that's right. I don't know where to find it on the internet. If you email me, I'll send you the information that I have on it and the link to. There is a really good YouTube that you could say the mantra along to that was really powerful. Let me tell you, the first time I did it, just doing it the one time, I experienced a state of bliss for 2 days. Wow. Then also the effect that it had is I hadn't been dreaming a lot. Suddenly, dreaming kicked in, and I started dreaming about past things that I had worked on but hadn't cleared all the way. So stuff that I'd actually worked on, was done working on but hadn't cleared. Every night I would have a dream, and the dreams were progressive. They went backwards in time until finally that last dream I had was a childhood dream about something that happened in my childhood. It literally took all that work I did. And it's like, oh, okay, you swept, but you didn't mop.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So, I mean, it was super effective. very easy to do. The mantra's not difficult, and it's very powerful.
Well, I love mantra work, so I think that's pretty exciting. So I'm glad I connected with you.
So email me at Sherry, SHERRY, at Sherry, SHERRY, Andrea, ANDREA.com.
So Sherry and Andrea, SherryAndrea.com?
Yeah, right. Sherry at SherryAndrea.com. Or you can go to my website.
Oh, okay.
Too, and just go to the contact form, and that'll email me too.
Perfect.
And just put in your subject Medicine Buddha Mantra, and then I'll know that it's you, and I'll send you, the information that I have on it. Because I don't know, I just get this feeling like it's like, yeah, you're doing all the right things, but maybe it's that there's a tool or something that you need in the process of working on yourself that will speed this up. And so that you'll get going with this because, you should be able, this shouldn't take a long time. Just because people say, oh, you work for years and years on yourself, that does not mean that when you really get down to really working, that does not mean it should take a long time.
Yeah, and what you just, it's like I think a lot of us go through, like, some of us just go, I've been working on myself for a really long time, but I feel like I did something that made me and allowed me to address some things, like you just said, have kind of been there, but really has not been really, like you said, it was swept, but not mopped.
Right.
And it's funny how that process is because we always assume, because we know of a variety of events that happen in our lives or situations, we just assume that they're resolved because we have an intellectual understanding about them.
Right, exactly.
But what you just said is, how in the hell do I really, really mop away and know that it's really mopped, and even if there's a little crumb, that's fine, but just knowing that I mopped it, versus just like I just swept it. So yeah, what you just said was absolutely perfect.
And it totally, the Medicine Buddha Mantra, like when I suggest using the violet flame to work on karma, you could think of the Medicine Buddha Mantra as that next more powerful thing to use.
Okay.
That is even more effective. It's almost like saying, if you take it in steps, it's like step 1 would be like, do your work, use the violet flame while you're doing it, and then that next higher level would be like, oh, okay, now that you did that and you got that work done, now finish cleaning it up. That would be like the Medicine Buddha Mantra. Okay,
so I know, like, Beloved I Am, Present Bright Around Me, so there's two, like, that mantra for the violet flame?
Yes.
So if I was to say that one, so how would I say that in a way that was going to be, like, maybe, would that be just like a kind of a, I don't know how to say it, just kind of like a little kind of a dusting of an issue? Like if I were to, take the violet flame and
the violet flame. Okay, well, if what you do first is you ask what I say is, I'll say, beloved Christ self, surround me with the violet flame, and I visualize myself surrounded by it, and I visualize my heart surrounded by it, my physical heart surrounded by the violet flame. Okay, then I say the mantra. Now the key to this, this has to do with the power of the spoken word. The key to saying your decrees or mantras is that you need to say them out loud. You need to say them in a positive manner. You know, you don't want to say them in a kind of a lifeless, dull way. You know what I mean? You want to say it with feeling. And then you also, you don't want to have your mind blank at the time. You do want to be kind of thinking or intending what you intend this to do. So whether it's you're saying it for the purpose of you're doing it to clear karma, or you, like me, you had a rough day with your 8-year-old and you were arguing about something silly and you put out like a whole bunch a negative energy and you did, and, I'll use the violet flame to help clear that up, because the thing is, when it comes to the law of attraction, I know if I sent that out there, it's coming back to me.
Right.
So I can do something about it if I use the violet flame.
Okay.
So now sometimes I'll use the violet flame on my son as well, because if I notice, and I'm like, he is just like, just seems to be angry, just angry, frustrated easily. Sometimes I'll use the violet flame on him, because sometimes there's something he needs to clear, maybe that he picked up somewhere, maybe his own temper tantrums or emotions, that negative energy is affecting him. So sometimes I'll use a violet flame on him, so I'll ask my higher self to surround him with it, and then I'll just state that now I'm going to say the violet flame decree on his behalf, and then I'll say it. So I can use a violet flame on behalf of another person.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do myself. Now here's the thing. All this work that you're doing not only benefits you, it benefits everyone who would be affected by you. So I'm talking family, friends. Everyone gets the benefit of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had somebody who has a Buddhist teacher that studies the Buddhist practice tell me, he said, all this work that you're doing, you may sometimes feel bad because the people who you deal with, who surround you, all these people they're not doing that, but you're doing all the spiritual work, and you kind of maybe feel like, okay, when the end comes, you're going to be right. Maybe you're going to be ready, but they're not, and you may be feeling bad about that. But no, all this work that you're doing, they benefit from it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So whether you just stick to using, all the tools strictly on yourself, or whether you consciously and purposely also use them on another person to help them, that will also affect you greatly as well, because you can imagine when you do something as selfless as that. That's like, using the violet flame on another person, it's kind of the same as when you pray for another person.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing an act that is very selfless, that's helping another person, and there is great karmic benefit from that. So realize that, too, that some of these things and the way you do them, you're getting rid of some of karma, but some of these things that you're doing and the way you're doing them, you're benefiting and getting positive karma from it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you do it faithfully every day, what you're going to do is you're going to work up a momentum. And what I mean by that is, let's say you only did something 10 minutes a day, and it doesn't seem like very much, but you only did it 10 minutes a day, but you did it faithfully every day. You would build up a momentum where eventually in a short amount of time, your 10 minutes a day has the same benefit as though you did 100 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So you just got to remember, you don't have to kill yourself doing, hours and hours of work. But if you do that certain amount and you stick with it and you do it faithfully every day, what you're going to do is momentum is going to be working for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all this information and these keys. When you use it all and you put it all together, that's what speeds up your progress, is because when you understand all these things, then you can be like, oh, okay, I know what to do, and I know how to make this work for me. The other thing is, you mentioned a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the thing. When I was doing all my spiritual work, my focus, when I did all the mantras and the decrees and everything, my focus was on spiritual advancement.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that at one point I said, I don't understand. I'm doing all this stuff and everything, and there seems to be no financial benefit at all. I mean, I'm going, I got to survive. And then I realized something. Well, of course not, because the law of attraction was also coming into play. I was doing all these decrees and mantras, which I was sending out so much positive energy, and I was thinking, well, it's not coming back to me, you know? I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, okay, my car is on its last leg. I don't have a lot of money, so if I'm sending all this positive energy out, where is it going? Well, guess what? It was going somewhere, but my focus was so much on my spiritual work and spiritual advancement, that's where it went. That is how I ended up having such, you know, spiritually advancing so fast.
Okay.
Is because my focus wasn't split at all. I wasn't like, oh, yeah, I want spiritual advancement and I want, you know, better finances and I want a boyfriend. I wasn't like splitting almost like splitting my attention. My attention was 100% focused on spiritual advancement, and the universe sent that back to me.
Got it.
So that's why I say, okay, for right now, this is what you're supposed to be working on. If you focus 100%, this isn't going to take very long. You're going to find it speeds up. And then before you know it, you're at that point where you're like, oh, okay, I've got good footing now. I'm down the road a little bit. Now I can split my focus to give attention to a person in my life.
Mhm.
I
appreciate your time.
You got it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And make sure you email me, and I'll make sure that I send that information to you.
Yeah,
and
definitely
anything,
will.
Yeah, and anything. Oh, and by the way, when the dreams happen, you don't have to do anything with them. It's very important that you do not do anything with the dreams. Don't ponder them too much, because those dreams are signs that it's trying to finish releasing. You need to let it go. If you focus too much on it, you're going to be holding it.
Got it.
So
and not even mention the dream to anyone?
No, you don't have. Nothing has to be done with it. I mean, you can mention it to someone, you know, because sometimes the dream will come out in interesting ways, and it will be very interesting. So I know what you mean, because I did the same thing. I was just like, you know, the dream, it manifested in such an interesting way. Of course, you know, yeah, I did the same thing. I had to tell someone, but you don't ponder it. Don't feel like you have to ponder it. Don't feel like you have to interpret it or anything, because you got to let it, you know what I mean? You got to let it release from you. You got to let it go. So, yeah, you can discuss it with somebody, but don't ponder it, you know. Don't try to figure it out or anything. You know, just let it go, and it will release really nice and smoothly, and then you'll notice that next night you'll have another dream about something else that you worked on that's ready to release.
I'm so excited.
So, yes, I'm excited too. So, you know, after you use it for a while, you know, you got to let us know, you know, how it's going.
I definitely will.
Okay, and it was great talking to you.
Well, have a fantastic evening. Thank you for your service.
You too.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Wonderful. That was very interesting.
Yes, and that's what I was trying to explain, is that, you know, I think there's so many people out there that are talking about the higher self right now, and they're doing a really great job of explaining what the higher self is, benefits. They do a really great job of explaining that, but I know, you know, personally for myself, you know, I needed to know how to do it. You know, what to do to bring it forward.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I see. We'll take one more caller. I see Jay in New York wants to know about her higher self. Okay. I have my glasses on, and I thought that said neighbor for a minute.
Right.
I was getting ready to say she wants to know about her neighbor. I was getting ready to say, this is going to be an interesting call.
Hi, Sherry.
Did you hear what I just said?
How are you? I know it's funny, but, you know, a lot of us don't know. I mean, we are aware of the higher self, but I was just curious about mine. So, well, how am I doing? What does my higher self needs me to work on.
Okay, let's see. First of all, you know, it just got very cold in the room. The thing is, I don't think I missaw higher self. You know, when I saw higher self and I thought it said neighbor, I swear it said neighbor. I swear it did. She wants to know about her neighbor. So I got to ask you this question. How is it going, your dealings with other people?
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good.
Okay, I mean,
I've noticed like lately I'm having like conflicts with people at the job.
That's what that's funny you said that because I was thinking coworkers.
Yeah,
because go ahead.
I'm sorry. I haven't had that in a while, and you know, when this crops up, I just want to like stay away from my coworker, have nothing to do with them. I mean, except for work related, but other than that, stay out of their path, and I stay out of theirs.
Yeah, and that is what I'm getting. I am getting that in the past, there was some change in the past. Did you I don't know if you okay, I'm not sure. How long have you been at this job? Have you been there a long time? I mean, I'm seeing some sort of change was there a promotion or?
No, I've been there like maybe 13 years at the same post.
Okay, since something changed there recently, I'm showing that there is some sort of change or movement that I would have to say, if you haven't changed jobs recently or recently gotten a promotion, something that changed, then possibly the effect is with what I'm showing the problem, the issue is, which is a giving away of your energy. What I mean by that is the coworker thing. When you're dealing with other people, if you let them get to you, even if you don't react to them, but it still gets to you, that's where your energy is going.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I try to stay away from them, because I find that, you know, it makes me dealing with them, it makes me angry, and it takes up a lot of my energy. And I said, okay, I'm going to just step back.
Right. Well, in a way, okay, that is the right thing to do. That is the right way to handle it. But sometimes there is, when you're working on yourself, there's a part of that work that you're going to do where you not only need to learn how to deal with, you know, certain issues like this and how to, separate yourself from it. However, but there's this too. With the higher self is what tells you the truth. Like, you see truth in all things when you're manifesting your higher self. So that means somebody could be saying something to you, and you're looking at them. You hear what they're saying, but you know the truth of what's going on. You know the truth behind their words. You know what's really going on. And you understand it. You have that truth, and you understand it. You need to look a little bit deeper into what is going on, because if you are noticing this, then this is coming out. This is coming for some reason. So just make sure you don't, in the process of trying to not be too affected by them, make sure you don't, I almost want to say ignore the lesson. I do that sometimes. You know, something happens, and later on, after the fact, I'll be like, oh, you know, I should have looked at it a little bit deeper at the time, but I was thinking, you know, it's like a red flag, get away.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Like, after, you know, I always question myself, well, did I do the right thing, or am I just being a mean person, or I question myself.
Right, and I can give you a perfect example of it. Okay, so I went to meet the teacher today, and a little boy and his family that lives around the corner from me that we've had trouble with in the past. One of the lady's kids was bullying my child. Couple years ago, the little one of her sons was in my son's class, and they get along fine, and they're good friends. However, his older brother bullies my son, and the mother's mean and nasty and everything, and so I've been doing the keep your distance thing. Okay, so I go into the classroom today, and I find his seat. We find his seat, and my son goes, "Oh, look, so-and-so's sitting across from me." I look up, and sure enough, the desk right across from him is this little boy, and I'm like, immediately I react. I go into flight mode. I'm just like, oh no. But I didn't take the time to really see this was something that, and I see it everywhere I go around town. I see this lady's car. Everywhere I go, this lady's popping up. Here she is again. I go to the grocery store. There she is again. Because I need to deal with it. There's more that I need to see, and I need to see the truth of what's going on with that. Not so much about her, but whatever I need to see that has to do with me. What is it? You know what I mean? You have to say sometimes, what is it about the situation? Where's the commonality? What is it, is it certain issues that you're always having? What's the issues? Where's that common ground? Is there something that every time you're having an issue with a coworker, is there something similar about each time you have an issue? It's like you need to look further into it. What's the issue? Talk yourself through it. Talk about what happened, what was said. Sometimes it helps to talk out loud and talk yourself through it. I do it. I talk like I'm talking to God. I'm telling them out my day. And this happened and that happened. And even though it upset me, I also see that this is the truth about what was going on. And I'm turning it around. I'm flipping it around, and I'm trying to see all sides of it. I'm eventually, if I do that enough, I'm eventually going to see what I'm supposed to see. Once I can see it and I learn from it, it's going to stop. Now, of course, the only time that may not be true is in the case of empathy. If you're an empath, it may not stop. So if you're an empath or you're a highly sensitive person, and what's really happening is that these coworkers are reacting to your energy, which if you're working on yourself, you've got to understand. The more you advance, the higher your vibrations get, the more light is in you. Mm-hmm. People who are at a lower vibration are going to react negatively to it. It's like oil and water don't mix.
Right.
So you have to understand that. It's like, imagine this. What if you held up a flashlight all of a sudden and you shine a bright flashlight in their eyes?
Yeah.
That is what you are. And they don't know what it is. They don't know what it is they're feeling from you, but they'll react to it because they know they feel something that to them doesn't feel right. That's because, as you work on yourself, you got to understand the people around you that aren't working on yourself, they're still where they're at, but you're raising yourself up. You're getting, you're being able to garner more and more pure light in you. People feel that. They sense it. They don't know what it is, but they sense that. So you have to realize you're going to be dealing with that more and more. Now, not everybody is going to react that way. Not everybody's going to have that reaction to a higher vibration, but you got to understand people that are, the lower in vibration a person is, usually the more they react negatively to it, to a person with high vibrations.
I understand.
So that's another way you should be looking at it. So if you have an interaction with a coworker, are you looking at it and almost feeling a little flattered by it in a way and thinking, this is good because this is a sign I'm doing well, because what they're picking up is they're picking up that light that's in me, and it's basically, it's shining in their face. Are you looking at it that way?
No, I'm looking. I mean, like, I try to stay away from the person, except for work related. But at the same sense, I feel guilty because I'm just wondering if I should just forgive and, But yes, I forgive them. But at the same time, I just want to stay away. So that's
right.
where the guilt comes in.
Oh, no, and I understand what you mean. No, you can stay away because first and foremost, you want your own vibrations to stay intact. There is nothing that says that if you're working on your spiritual path, that you have to lay down and let people walk over you, that you have to let people be mean to you. There's nothing that says you have to do that. So you have to understand that that's the right you have. You don't have to let someone, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but as far as the guilty feeling, it's you forgive them, but you want to also be able to forgive them if you get it. You know what I mean? Don't forgive them if you don't get it. If you don't get it and you don't understand, you know what I mean? Don't forgive them and still in your mind be like, yeah, but I don't understand. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing this and doing that? You don't see it yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not seeing what's going on, why they're doing it. You got to have some understanding also to go along with the whole forgiving them and then making that decision, I'm just going to keep my distance.
Right.
Because you could do that and that works very well, but it works better if you have some understanding of, what that person's got going on that's causing them to act the way they are, or what it is that they're picking up in you that they're reacting to, if you feel like it's your energy. And you can always tell, let's say, for example, you get really, really busy, and for about a week you don't do a lot of spiritual work. And you notice that all of a sudden, things with the coworkers have calmed down, they're more friendly and chatty. Okay, and then you pick up again and you start doing your spiritual work again, and then all of a sudden, here we go again. You'll know for sure. That's how you'll know for sure if it's a reaction to the light and the higher vibration within you, that they're reacting to.
And it's the same situation all over again. That's the funny thing.
Yes, and I could tell you one thing that might help. Okay, the thing is, when you raise your vibrations, what you're doing is, of course, you have more pure light in you. It's almost like saying you're manifesting more of your higher self and your I am presence, your God self. That divine spark in you has gotten brighter, bigger, more powerful. But here's the thing. It also affects other people. It affects anything in your environment. I mean, some people, the higher their vibration gets, they'll notice animals start coming around, or certain animals react negatively to them, like dogs all of a sudden. You get near a dog and it just starts growling at you or whatever. Or cats seem to be attracted to you suddenly, and you come home and there's cats all around your house. And, the light affects everything. And the thing is, you can shield people from the light, and it's called, there's a decree called the White Tube of Light decree. And it's a decree that you say that basically asks that there be a shield of white light that's brought down and surrounding you that basically protects you from anything negative anybody tries to send your way, but also shields them from the brightness of your light.
Okay.
Now, I had less trouble with people once I started using that decree. And you want to do the decree. There's I don't say the decree all the time now, but I did in the beginning. So in the beginning, when you first start, what you want to do is, if you Google white tube of light decree, and you'll in the Google search, you should see a couple of links come up for Summit Lighthouse, or I'm trying to remember the name. You'll see it. They're pretty much.
Okay.
There's different sites that have the decree. Any one you do is fine, but it should be the one that has most of the decrees that are really good decrees have the word I am in it a lot.
Okay.
So that's how you'll know if it's the right one. But basically, it's a decree where you're asking for the white tube of light to surround you and protect you, but also to shield people outside of yourself from your light. You need to say it every day. And the thing is, it will stay and be effective until, of course, as long as you stay in peace and harmony, it's effective. Okay, the minute you go out of harmony, you're going to have to redo it again. So let's say, for example, you did it in the morning, and then, like me, this is what happens. I'll do it in the morning, and then my 8-year-old comes to me, throwing a temper tantrum. If I get upset and I argue back and forth with him, well, that ended the effectiveness, because you have to stay in peace and harmony for the white tube of light to stay intact. Okay. So I would have to say it again, or just ask my I am presence. Just say, I am presence. Please draw down and surround me with the white tube of light. Is what I always say, and I just visualize that my I am presence. If you saw the picture that I put up, that is on Blog Talk Radio. It's going back and forth between my picture and then the other one. The other one is the diagram of the 3 cells. The bottom one is the lesser self. The middle one is the higher self. And the top one is the I am presence. Now, you can see that outer white light is the tube of light. So look at that. That is how you need to visualize it coming down and surrounding yourself. Now, you being the lesser self position. Right. And then you also see that lower self is also surrounded by the violet flame. So if you ask your higher self to surround you with the violet flame, that's how you want to visualize it being around you. So that's how you're going to visualize it if you're going to use those decrees, the white tube of light and the violet flame decree. Now, here's the other thing. You can use the violet flame decree to help you with that situation by just saying the decree often every day with the intent of that issue basically resolving yourself. It's basically like saying the decree while intending that any obstacles at work not be in your way. So just, all you really have to do is say it while you're thinking about your coworkers.
Okay.
And it's very effective. Doing that is very effective. Just do it every day. You should notice a difference, because it should really, any energy that's there, that's negative, that they've got going on, that they're putting out, one, it will help to get rid of that negative energy. It'll almost seem to smooth things out a little bit.
All right.
So it's really effective. It'll really, if you use it, just use it every day. Less than a week, you should notice a difference.
Okay. I'll try it. I'll definitely try it. Yeah,
and then just, if you have more trouble or you use it, if you use it and it's effective but not enough, or say sometimes what happens is it's effective but not on everyone. There's always that one person. It seems like, just, feel free, to call, back, on one of the show days and just, let me know, because the power of the spoken word, either through mantras, decrees, prayers, if you do them the right way, they're really powerful. They, they can really clear these things out of your way. Don't kind of sit back and act like, okay, well, this is what they're putting out. This must be what's supposed to happen. I'm going to let it happen. No. You can try to help yourself and affect change in this situation. The saying is, if there's something in your life you don't like it, change it. And, hey, decrees and mantras are great for that. Because if it's in your reality, somehow you created it. We don't sometimes know how we created it, how it came to be. Is it karma from something from a long time ago? We don't know. But if it's in your reality, then you think of it as, okay, if it's in my reality, then I created it. That means I can change it. That's the power you have to have in the thinking of what you have the ability to affect and change in your life. If you believe that's true, then in fact it is true, and this will be a piece of cake for you to resolve.
All right.
So you can do it. Believe me, it works very well. All you have to do is, believe that if it's in your reality, you created it, and you can also change it. As long as you believe that's your truth, you can do this.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You are welcome, and be sure to call us back and let us know how it goes.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too, and thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, and we're back. That was really good. Let me tell you, I knew that we were, what we were discussing was the right thing, because at times the room would, get really, really, really cold, and then it would get really warm.
I heard you saying that, and what's the meaning for that?
Well, I always know if it just suddenly gets cold, really suddenly, it gets cold, but I don't feel a presence of anyone, meaning I don't feel that it's mediumship-wise, that anyone's come forward and that's the spirit. I don't feel anybody trying to touch me, but the temperature drops. That means my vibrations just raise, dramatically, which means that's my higher self. That's my higher self. It's almost like my higher self is sitting back quietly, and then all of a sudden somebody starts discussing something, and also their higher self too comes into play. So my higher self, their higher self, all of a sudden sit up and go, oh, okay, we've got something to say about this. Yeah, we're interested in giving our 2 cents about this. That's how I can tell, what we're discussing, we're on the right track. Our higher selves are also interested in what we're discussing, so much so that if my vibrations increase, I also know that during that time, it's my higher self talking, almost like channeling. So I know during those times, if it's coming out my mouth, that's my higher self.
Right.
Because I usually start talking faster, more decisive, more, I don't know, even more like I get really no, this is this, you know what I mean? That's not me. I'm not doing, you know what I mean? I'm not doing that on purpose. It's when my vibrations go up and it's my higher self, trying to come forward more, it's that change, you know.
Right.
I start talking faster. Usually there's no, you know what I mean, how I normally pause because I'm thinking. There's usually not much of a pause. It's just coming out. And
wow.
I get really, really, you know, I start sounding, I used to get really worried that I would offend someone because I would start sounding so decisive about things. So, you know, like, no, it's this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So almost I'd be worried I was being, like, coming off, like, really harsh. But I, you know, when I would, like, after I would get off the phone with someone, I would, like, literally, like, if it was a client, I would literally, like, worry if I was going to hear back from them. And I would worry, like, whether or not they understood or, you know what I mean? I would, like, literally be, like, all worried, like, should I call them back? Should I explain what was going on? Did I, you know, and I would worry about whether or not I was, you know, was I come across as a little too much, and, you know, I would actually worry about it. But then finally I had to, like, be like, you know, I can't worry about it. It's not even something I can control.
Exactly.
You know, so I just, you know, I would say I just got to trust that, you know, if they take it, you know, if they take it well and they just focus on listening to the information and what I said and everything, and not maybe so much how it came across or how I said it, you know, I have to trust that they'll do that. And if they don't, then maybe it's okay too, because maybe they're not ready for that yet. But I've said it, I've said everything, so I have to be confident that when they are ready, you know, they've heard it, I've said it, when they're ready for it, they're going to use that. You know, they're going to use that information when they're ready for it. So, but yeah, I was always like, some stuff that would come forward, you know, especially, you know, when I was doing coaching sessions where, you know, the person was working on their spiritual advancement, maybe, you know, one of their, you know, a loved one or one of their parents, you know, had died not too long ago, where they had unresolved issues. A lot of things that, like, came out and came forward, I would worry that they wouldn't take it well, or that it would be so emotional for them that I would never hear from them again. I would always worry about that.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, that's why, I mean, I used to like, you know, when I did do like a mediumship reading, but I just found that I don't know. I got to the point where I was like, I don't know if this is for me, because I spent all my time worrying about whether or not somebody is going to be emotionally hit so hard by it, you know?
Right.
Even when people call me about, you know, healing their pets, you know, and the pets die, I mean, I get more emotional than they do. You know, I'm crying more for their pet than they are, because it's just like, you know, I don't know. That's why it was just like, you know, at one point I was like, I don't know if the whole mediumship thing is for me, because I'll be like crying, bawling, you know.
Right. Oh, my goodness.
So, but it was always, you know, whenever I did readings, you know, pets, and then I had told a friend one time that, you know, I think I'm going to end up getting a complex, because people keep coming to me wanting me to help them with their pets that are sick. I go and they keep dying. I go, and I know it's nothing that I'm doing, you know, and I know that is what was going to happen, but I'm just like, you know, I'm thinking, why would God, you know, have, you know, people come to me, and then here I am, I'm getting a complex, because every time the pet dies, and then we go through this, you know, thing where now they're on the other side, and I'm, you know,
right.
how it goes. It was like really unique though, because it went from a situation where they're coming to me about healing their pet, and what it ends up being is like me coaching them and helping them with healing and understanding,
Right.
after the fact. So it was very interesting, and I know that's what they needed most, and that's why that experience happened, because it was a lesson. Sometimes it was the lesson of loss and letting go, and so I understood that, but still it was just like so emotional for me. I'd be like an emotional basket case.
Wow.
It was very rewarding, but I spent my all the time crying. I'm crying for the pet, that I'm crying because I feel for them, and then I'm giving good information and coaching and readings and everything, but I'm just bawling the whole time.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I'm just like, I'm too emotionally sensitive with my empathy to do this. I'm like, yeah, it's rewarding, but I cried the whole time. But tonight was a really good show, I thought.
It was very interesting, especially because you had the chance to explain, a little bit more in detail.
Yeah, especially with having two callers that had questions about the higher self. I think it gave, because sometimes it's hard. I mean, you talk about something, but real life examples are better,
Right.
Until you got a real life example, sometimes you can't figure out, okay, how do I, I understand it, but now how do I actually incorporate it into my life? How do I think about doing that? So it was great to have, two callers where, we could actually, discuss, the higher self playing a role.
Right.
So we'll have to maybe do another higher self teaching, but maybe talking more about the law of attraction. I think that would be good. Yeah, I think that would be really good, because, a lot of people, that's, what they're doing, they're either trying to attract more peace in their life, a job, relationship. So I think that would be good, because if, somebody's trying to attract a relationship and they're not in one, this is something they could at least, they could be working on attracting, that ideal, perfect, person into their life, that'll be good for them.
Right.
So I guess we will wrap it up now. I think we went over our time just by a little bit, but if anyone wants more information, feel free to go to the website, SherryAndrea.com. And also feel free to go there, and you can contact me through the website. Also, there's a link to the forum. So this is information. Almost all the information that I discuss on the show is actually information that we do discuss in the forum quite often. So, if you would like to be able to discuss topics like this, the law of attraction, talk to other people, ask them what their experiences have been, what they do, different tools they use. The forum is a great place, and there's some really awesome people, that hang out in the forum sometimes. And the forum does have a chat room, so, you could always go in there, chat. Sometimes people are looking to do practice readings. There is the portrait forum where you can put a picture up and get a reading so that people can practice. But keep in mind, people are practicing, so if you have to wait a couple of days for somebody to, do your reading on your picture, just be patient, because, they're not, charging any money for it. They're using it to be able to get practice. So be a little bit patient. And also don't forget to if you get a reading, to validate it, go back and, tell them what they got that you can validate as being right or wrong, etc., so that it'll help them improve. And we had a really great time with you. I really appreciate you listening. And I look forward to us being here again next week, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Had to get that in. And I appreciate you being here with me tonight, Stella.
No problem, anytime.
And we will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good night.